Hi, in today's video, I'm going to speak about the one mindset shift that's helped me shift my business and that has helped my clients also make their changes around money. My name is Mar Hausler. I'm a money mindset coach. I teach women all about investing and really moving towards financial peace of mind. So what is this shift and how do we go about it? I want to talk about the work cycle and what I've observed with so many people that I've coached, but also within myself. Oftentimes we come out of the education system having been brought up by our parents and we look for work. Maybe in the corporate world, having structure, having someone guiding us, which is a great milestone in terms of learning, exploring, and I could definitely see that in my finance years. I really went into that structure. However, we are still working for a paycheck. We are maybe doing a job that a superior is telling us to do and maybe not fully creative in our own lives. Now, we can be creative in the corporate world. We can be creative in certain jobs and really being an entrepreneur within that. Some people call this like a corporate entrepreneur or really being within those structures. Others, for example, break out and they say, I want to go free. I want to be a freelancer. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to build my own ideas, my own businesses. And that's also really great. So that's really kind of a second part that you can go to. And some people really skip the corporate world. And others just say, you know what? I want none of this. Like, let me do it my way. And really, this is where the ideas spring up, where we start looking at things. You know, it's a whole spectrum of ways of working and going through that cycle. Now, for me, the big question lies in how are you making money? What are you putting into the world? Is it a paycheck by paycheck, which is completely fine? Or are you a freelancer where it might be oscillating a lot? Are you an entrepreneur taking care of many other people having to manage this? Now, for me, what really shifted was when I was working for time equals money, having a job in the corporate world, really clocking in the hours, having to be there at a certain time, moving to being a freelancer, let's say coaching, being independent, dictating my time, but however, not having that paycheck coming in every month. That regularity was gone. However, I dictated my time. But once again, that was time equals money. It was a service-based industry. It was the hours that I was putting out where the clients were paying me, and that's how I can continue that cycle. Now, what I realized is even a bigger shift, and this is what I want to talk about, is looking at creating a product-based industry out of the work you're doing, making products happen. Because if you are trading time for money, if it's in a job or let's say freelancing or something independent as a solopreneur, and it's a service-based industry, it relies on you. It relies on your time. And what for me is the key is breaking out of that cycle of time equals money to really creating products that then can have a life of their own and fulfill many more clients without you needing to be there at that time. And I think that's the key in shifting around your work and your business. Obviously, AI today is a huge amplifier in terms of time, in terms of what people are putting out. Another one is really looking at your business, for example, as a coach or a yoga teacher and having products in the back of it, courses where you're not having to show up with your time. Same with entrepreneurship, looking at how you can change your business into a product-based business, how you can leverage this and amplify it. And for me, this is the key, because as you expand and as you gain more knowledge in whatever you're doing, whatever industry it might be, you really are becoming an expert. Now, when you're an expert, you need much less time to fulfill the tasks you want to do. Now, when you're starting out, of course, time equals money is important, you're learning. But as you get to that point, what you would have done as a task that would have taken you maybe an hour takes you so much less. So how are you able to charge for time equals money when you get to this brink point? So there comes a time in your career, in your life, in your shift, in your work, where that doesn't work so well anymore because you've become such an expert and you're still charging a certain amount for your time, let's say. And then people would say, well, you're only giving me 10 minutes, not 1 hour. Why would I be paying you X amount? And that's where the shift kind of comes through, where then you're saying, okay, how can I have a bigger impact to more people to grow, to really expand this, to have a reach where I'm not stuck in that cycle. And so this is what I want to bring you to with today's video, seeing, okay, where are you at? Are you an expert in that industry? Have you really mastered certain tools? And can you break out of this cycle that keeps you in the time equals money loop where you're putting your time, getting paid for it, but not able to amplify it? Because there comes a breaking point where you cannot charge more than a certain hourly rate. Maybe you can, but it gets very difficult in certain industries to say I'm charging X amount when the average is here. Let's see how you can really shift out of that mindset. And for me, this has been the key. I worked in finance, I had a job, that was my time. Going into the machine, starting at whatever time it was, 5, 6 a.m. when I first started, coming out in the evenings, working for that time. Then when I became a coach, I was really offering workshops, traveling around, talks, giving my time to one-to-one clients. But that was limited according to how much time I had. So I started creating products. So I started creating things on top of that. And now I'm going through another shift, which is really creating a vision in the world, which is much more, I would say, almost all the work I've put together to birth something, which I'm very excited to share about soon. This is not the video in time, but using my own methodology on myself, like I was joking with my clients, but to really put something else out that is much bigger than that, where it's not my time equals money anymore, but it's really into entrepreneurship. It's leading a team. It's putting a product, a vision, something into the world where I'm not stuck in that cycle. And I think this is an important thing to really get to. When we start becoming experts, when we start knowing our field, when we start being creative in that, it is so important to break out of that cycle, because you will be stuck and trapped for a long time where your work is dependent on your time. As you grow older, let's say, or as you mature, maybe you want to work less, but you will still have to be putting those hours in. So I want you to reflect for this video. Where are you in your stage? Are you still in a job? Could you have a side hustle? Could you create something that can really amplify or be of your interest that you can put into the world? Are you maybe still working for time equals money? A coach, a yoga teacher, a service provider? Is there something that you can create with a bigger vision of everything you've lived through that you can birth to the world that is not fully dependent on you, but is something that can live on, maybe even saying a legacy or something that can continue living beyond you, that can have impact out of that realm. And that's what I want to speak about today, because I believe that everyone has their gifts, everyone has their talent, everyone has something to offer to the world, but we're still stuck in these cycles that have been conditioned, many different things, but I would even say the schooling system or things like that, where we're stuck in time equals money. And this, if we can shift this one mindset thing. If you have a moment, take a pen, paper, start being creative. Maybe you want to play with some things, take tools out, go for a walk, whatever it is that allows you that space to reflect and to see where are opportunities in your life, where are opportunities in your working life and what you're putting out in the world, where you can jump out of the time equals money. Even if this is starting with an hour a week, with a hobby, with a side hustle. This is how so many of my clients have started. And I want to leave you with one inspiring woman I worked with. And she told me, every single talk I give, I charge 10,000, not less. If it's 15 minutes, if it's 1 hour, if it's 2 hours. And I was like, that's really interesting. And she's like, because that talk that I give, it's not just that talk, it's not that time, it's all the experience that I've accumulated, all the lessons I've lived, everything I've gone through that shows up in that moment. And that's the important thing to remember. As you show up in your work, everything you're putting out is the amplification of all the experience that you've lived and everything that you've put out, gone through, that you're putting out in that moment. That is the key of birthing your work. And I would like you to find that sweet spot for you to be able to amplify your work and put that into the world. I hope this helps you in some way in your mind or in your work to start breaking out of the money and time cycle, to start seeing other possibilities to making income, but also just expressing your gifts and really rewriting your story around money and work that allows you to live in a freer way. If any of this inspires you, please hit like, follow my channel. I hope that there will be more videos and sharings that can really touch you and help you on your journey, especially around your relationship to money and your purpose in life.